बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वकफ़ा व सलामुन अला इबादिहिल्लज़ीना इस्तफ़ा अम्मा बाद क़ाल अल्लाहु तबारक व तआला क़ुल लिल मुअमिनीना यग़ुद्दू मिन अब्सारिहिम व यहफ़ज़ू फ़ुरूजहुम ज़ालिका अज़का लहुम इन्नल्लाहा ख़बीरुम बिमा यस्नऊन वक़ुल लिल्मुअमिनाति यग़्ज़ुद्न मिन अब्सारिहिन्न वयहफ़ज़न फ़ुरूजहन्न वला युब्दीन ज़ीनतहन्न वक़ाल अन्नबिय्यु सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम मन तशब्बह बिक़ौमिन फ़हुव मिनहुम वक़ाल रसूलुल्लाहि सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम लअनल्लाहु المتشبهين بالرجال من النساء والمتشبهات من النساء بالرجال أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام قابل सद एहतराम माँ और बहनों, मैं इंशाअल्लाह कोशिश करूँगा कि बयान का कुछ हिस्सा उर्दू में हो और कुछ हिस्सा इंग्लिश में हो, इसलिए कि मुझे मालूम है यहाँ पर कुछ हमारी माएँ और बहनें उर्दू या गुजराती बोलने वाली हैं और कुछ नौजवान बहनें इंग्लिश बोलने वाली और समझने वाली हैं। इसलिए कोशिश ये रहेगी कि कुछ बातें इंग्लिश में हो और कुछ बातें उर्दू में हो। एक मौके पर हजरत अली रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हु और बीबी फातिमा रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हा, जो कि जन्नत की औरतों की मलिका है, क्वीन है, वो रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के मकान पर पहुंचे। आपकी बेटी थी और आपका दामाद था। मुलाकात के लिए गए। जब मकान में आए तो उन्होंने ताज्जुब से देखा कि हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम रो रहे हैं। तो उन्होंने हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से रोने का सबब मालूम किया। तो आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि मेरे रोने की वजह ये है कि अभी अभी अल्लाह ताला ने मेरे सामने मेरी उम्मत में 6 किस्म की औरतों के अजाब का मंजर मुझे दिखाया जहन्नम के अंदर, और वो इतना दर्दनाक मंजर था, इतना खौफनाक मंजर था, जिसकी वजह से मुझे रोना आया। तो उन्होंने पूछा, ए अल्लाह के रसूल, वो कौन 6 औरतें थी और उन पर कौन सा अजाब था जिसने आपको रुलाया? नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने उनको पूरी तफसील से बताया और समझाया कि वो 6 औरतें कौन थी और उन पर किस किस किस्म का अजाब था। तफसील से उनको समझाया, तफसील से उनको बताया। लेकिन चूंकि आज इतना वक्त मेरे पास नहीं है कि मैं पूरी तफसील से वो आप लोगों के सामने पेश करूं, हालांकि बहुत जरूरी चीज है। इंशाअल्लाह किसी और मौके पर अल्लाह ने तौफीक नसीब फरमाई तो इसका जिक्र होगा। लेकिन इस वक्त उन 6 औरतों में से मुझे सिर्फ एक औरत के मुतालिक अर्ज करना है कि हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया उनमें से एक औरत वो भी है कि उसको मैंने अजाब में इस तरह पर देखा कि वो जहन्नम के आग में थी, उसका पूरा बदन जहन्नम में लटक रहा था, उसके बाल बांधे हुए थे और उसका बाल एक किस्म के वो हुक में था और उसका बदन जहन्नम में लटक रहा था और जहन्नम की आग उसको जला रही थी और उसको बहुत सख्त सजा मिल रही थी, जिसकी वजह से उसका दिमाग खोल रहा था। उन्होंने पूछा, ऐ अल्लाह के रसूल, वो कौन सी औरत थी और उसको क्यों ये अजाब मिल रहा था? आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, ये वो औरत है या वो औरत थी जिसने दुनिया के अंदर अपने सर के बाल को नहीं ढांका। ये उसका अजाब, ये उसकी सजा है आखिरत के अंदर। तो मेरी माँ और बहनों, बहुत गौर और फिक्र का मकाम है और बहुत डरने का मकाम है कि जो लोग अपने बाल को और अपने बदन के लिबास को शरीयत के मुताबिक न बनाए, आखिरत में उनको कितनी सजा होगी और कितना अजाब आएगा। अल अमान अल हफीज, अल्लाह ताला अपनी पनाह में रखे। My respected sisters in Islam, the daughter and son-in-law of our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Bibi Fatima and Hazrat Ali, visited the father one day and they found him crying and they asked him, O Messenger of Allah, what makes you cry? And he said that Allah has shown me the azab of some women of my ummah, 6 types of women, very, very painful punishment for them in Jahannam. When I saw that, it made me cry, and I am very disturbed and worried and perturbed about the punishment that was being meted out to these unfortunate women. My respected mothers and sisters, how much of love and concern our beloved Master Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam had for the women of his ummah. The women of this ummah, they must be drowned in shukr and ihsan. They must be drowned in the kindness of our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam for what concern he showed for the women of this ummah. He was very worried about what will happen to the women in the akhirat. And that is why we find our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam warned the women of his ummah. He warned them and he admonished them and he advised them about those things that will cause harm to them in the akhirah. I will not go into the details of all of these 6 women and what wrongs they were doing for getting punishment in Jahannam, because that will take a lot of time. But I would like to speak about one particular woman. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that she was hanging by her hair in the fire of Jahannam. Her hair was hooked and her body was dangling in the fire of Jahannam. And the fire of Jahannam was burning her to such an extent that her brains were boiling in her head. And I asked why, what is the reason for this punishment? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them that this particular woman, she never used to cover her hair, she used to leave her hair open. Now, my respected mothers and sisters, let us think about our own condition as a Muslim Ummah and the Muslim women around the world. Today we find that when it comes to their hair and when it comes to their dressing, many people think there is no law of Islam and there is no guidance of Sharia, and we can dress as we want and we can keep our hair as we want. Many people think we have freedom and liberty. It's my life. I can do what I want. Why must I be dictated to? Why must I be told by somebody how to lead my life? No, my respected mothers and sisters. जब हमने कलीमा ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह पढ़ लिया तो गोया कि हमने अब अल्लाह की गुलामी को इख्तियार कर लिया है। अब हम अल्लाह के गुलाम हो गए हैं और अल्लाह का गुलाम जो किसी का गुलाम होता है वो अपने आका की नाफरमानी नहीं कर सकता है। when we read the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we become the slave of Allah and Allah's Rasul. And a slave has got no matter, no say in his matter. Whatever the master has decided, the slave has to accept. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اشْتَرَى مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَمْوَالَهُم بِأَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةَ. अल्लाह ने खरीद लिया ईमान वालों की जान और माल को ताकि उसके बदले में उनको जन्नत दिया जाए. Allah has purchased you, O Muslim man and woman. Allah has purchased you, Allah has bought you. Allah has bought your wealth, Allah has bought your life, Allah has bought your body, Allah has bought your clothing, Allah has bought your hair, Allah has bought every part of your body. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give you in return Jannah. We are slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do not have a say in our own matters. وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا أن يكون لهم الخيرة من أمرهم. मोमिन मर्द और मोमिन औरत के लिए मुनासिब नहीं है कि जब अल्लाह और अल्लाह के रसूल किसी चीज के मामले में फैसला कर ले कि उनको अपना इख्तियार बाकी रहे उस मामले में, बल्कि उनका इख्तियार खत्म हो जाता है और उनको अल्लाह और अल्लाह के रसूल के सामने और उनके हुक्म के सामने अपना सर खम तस्लीम करना चाहिए. When Allah says in the Quran that it is not right for a Muslim man and it is not right for a Muslim woman that when Allah and Allah's Rasul have made a decision in any matter that they have any choice anymore, but they have to submit themselves before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they have to accept what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Therefore, my respected mothers and sisters, this idea that many people have got that it's my life, I have freedom, I have liberty, I can choose how I wish to live, I can choose how I want my hairstyle to be, I can choose my clothing, how my clothing can be, my dressing style, what fashions I follow. It is completely wrong. We as Muslims, we don't have freedom. We as Muslims, we don't have that liberty to dress as we want, to eat what we want, to go where we want, to do what we want, to speak what we want, to listen to what we want, to think what we want. Whatever we do, whatever we speak, whatever we hear, whatever we wear, whatever thoughts go through our mind, everything is regulated by the law of Allah and Allah's Rasul, which is known as the Sharia. हम शरीयत के पाबंद हैं, हम शरीयत पर चलने के मुकल्लफ हैं और उसके बदले में अल्लाह ताला ने हमारे लिए जन्नत पैदा किया है. We are compelled to follow the Shariah, and in return Allah Rabbul Izzat has prepared for us Jannat. My respected mothers and sisters, I don't know much about Barbados because I'm only here for the last 2-3 days. Allah knows best. You people know better your halat and condition. But I know the conditions in many other parts of the world where today we find that many of our Muslim mothers and sisters, especially our young sisters in Islam, it is very sad and disheartening to see that they behave as if there is no law of Allah as far as their dressing and as far as their appearance is concerned. We find today it has become a common tendency for women to cut their hair. Baal kaatti hai. It is mentioned in one kitab that once a lady passed away and they took her to the Qabristan, they made the funeral, they buried her in the ground, in the grave, and they came back home, but her brother found that the purse he had fell inside the qabr, so he asked permission from his mother, and he went to dig open the qabr, and he went to take out his purse, and when he saw the body of his sister that was very strange. The hair was all stretched out and it was tied to her toes, and her body was all bent over, and he thought, let me straighten my sister out before I take out the money, my purse from inside the qabr. And it is said when he touched her hair, he let out a shriek and he screamed in pain and agony. Why? Because the hair was boiling hot, was burning hot. And he ran out from the Qabristan. He forgot all about his money and everything. And he was screaming in pain. He ran to the doctors. No doctor could help him out. Finally he went to one Maulana Saheb, and Maulana Saheb gave him one bowl of water, and he read some ayats of Quran Sharif in there, and he blew inside the water, and he told him, keep your fingers in here. And until he kept his fingers in the water, he would have some relief. The moment he took his fingers out, his fingers would be burning again. So he told his mother all of this, what he saw in the qabr, and he said, oh my mother, it appears that my sister is getting azab in the qabr. What was she doing wrong? And the mother said, your sister was a very good lady, she was a very good person, but yes, one thing, she would never cover her hair. Even after I used to say to her that, Abde Dal ko dhank lo, cover your hair. This daughter of mine never used to cover her hair. She used to leave her hair open, and this was the azab and punishment for her. Many people think these stories and incidents that are narrated, ये तो बस किस्से कहानियां हैं, फर्जी बातें हैं. मेरी माँ और बहनों, हजरत मौलाना पालनपुरी रहमतुल्लाह अलैह फरमाया करते थे कि अगर तुझे यहाँ नहीं मानना है तो मर के देख, मानना ही पड़ेगा. If we don't want to believe these things now in the life of this world, the day we die, the reality of these things will open in front of our eyes. Therefore, my respected mothers and sisters, it is haram for a Muslim woman to cut her hair. Yes, when she goes for Hajj or Umrah, little bit of her hair she can cut when she has to come out of ihram, but otherwise, for a woman to cut her hair short and imitate the man or imitate the non-Muslims, it is completely haram and it is not permissible, it is not jais. Yet today we find many young girls, I don't know about Barbados, but many other parts of the world we find that there are the young girls today who are cutting their hair short. And you don't know whether it is a girl or whether it is a boy. मुश्किल से पहचाना जाता है कि ये लड़का है या लड़की है, ये सलीम है या सलमा है, मुश्किल से पता चलता है. Our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لعن الله المتشبهين بالرجال من النساء والمتشبهات من النساء بالرجال. अल्लाह की लानत है उन औरतों पर जो मर्दाना लिबास पहनती है या मर्दाना शक्ल इख्तियार करती है, और अल्लाह की लानत है उन मर्दों पर जो जनाना लिबास पहनते हैं या जनाना यानी तरीका इख्तियार करते हैं. Those men who imitate women in dressing and appearance, Allah's curses will be upon them. And those women who imitate men in their dressing and their appearance, Allah's curses will be upon them. Today we find that it is fashionable. It is part of fashion in the world. You know, you have this unisex clothing. The same clothing for men and women. You can't make out the difference now. It is not allowed for a Muslim woman to adopt the dressing of a Muslim man, nor is it allowed for a Muslim man to adopt the dressing or the ways or the appearance of a Muslim, of a woman. We find today, my respected mothers and sisters, directly opposite is taking place in the world. ये उल्टी सुलटी दुनिया है. So very upside down world we are living in. Women are cutting their hair short like men, and we find many young boys now, they are growing ponytails, and they're keeping long hair like hippies. Men are starting to wear jewelry, bracelets, chains and necklaces around their neck, and bangles and chains and earrings in their nose and ears and all parts of the body. Whereas it is haram for a man to use jewelry and to imitate the dressing and appearance of a woman. And similarly, it is haram for a woman to dress like a man and to appear like a man and to cut their hair short, etc. It is said that once one young girl, this is a true story, ये सच्ची कहानी है, जिसको मानना हो मान ले और जिसको नहीं मानना है वो जाने. There was this young girl, she used to cut her hair short. Her mother told her a lot of times that it is not right for you to cut your hair, but she did not accept. She refused, and she used to dress like a boy. Want to look and appear like boys and like men. This is not allowed. It is haram. So this young girl also had this shock and desire to look like a man. And she used to wear tops and jeans and cut her hair short. And like I said, you can't make out today. Like it is said, one man went to some place and he saw a person standing, a youngster standing there, and there was some person, one adult standing next to the youngster. So he went to this adult and he said, "Excuse me, is this your son?" So that person turned around and said, "Why are you asking the question?" He said, "Because I can't make out whether..." The story was like this, that he saw this youngster standing, and he saw this adult standing next to the youngster, and he went and he asked, "Tell me, is this your child?" And that person replied, "Why are you asking?" He said, "No, because you look like the father of this child." And that person turned around and said, "Hey, don't you have any decency? Don't you have any shame in you? Can't you see I'm the mother of this child?" So the zamana has become such that it is difficult, let alone in children, but even in adults you can't make out the difference between who is a man and who is a woman. Because women are cutting their hair short and men are keeping long hair. Men are supposed to grow beards and daris according to the Shariat, but we find men are shaving their beards. So now you can't make out who is a man and who is a woman. So my respected mothers and sisters, this young girl, she used to always dress like a boy. The mother told her, "Allah, don't dress like this, it is against the teachings of Islam." But she refused to accept, and finally it just happened one day that she passed away. Now when she passed away, everybody knew it was a girl, so the ladies went to go and give ghusl to her body. But when they came there and they started to give ghusl, they found that instead of being a girl, there was the body of a boy, and they ran away from the ghusl khana, and they came out and they said, "This is not a girl, how can we go and give ghusl to a boy? Please send the men to give ghusl to this boy." So the men came, and when they came near and they wanted to give ghusl, suddenly they found that this is not a boy, it is a girl. And they said, "How can we give ghusl to a girl?" And they ran out of that place and they said, "Please send the woman in. It is not a boy, it is a girl." So the woman came back inside. When they wanted to give ghusl, they found the body turned into that of a boy. It was no more a girl. They came out and they sent the men in, and the men came out and they sent the women in, and they didn't know, everybody was pareshan, everybody was hairan, they didn't know what to do, how to give ghusl, because when the men are going in, it is a girl, when the women are going in, it becomes a boy. So they went to one great alim of that zamana and they asked him the question that, "What is this? What is going on?" He said, "Explain to me something about the life of this girl." And he said, "Yes, she had one thing about her, is she would always dress like men, like boys, and she was like a tomboy, cut her hair short, and dressed like a boy, like a male." He said, "Ye uski saza hai. This is a punishment." But now, because she imitated men, her body becomes like a man in front of the woman, and in front of the men, her body becomes like that of a girl. They said, "Hazrat, but how are we going to give her ghusl? Because women are not allowed to give ghusl to a boy, and men are not allowed to give ghusl to a girl." He said, "Uska ghusl nahi diya ja sakta hai. You can't give ghusl to this girl. Somebody will just have to make tayammum for her and put the kafan on and send the janaza off." So wo ghusl se bhi mahroom rah gayi. She was deprived of a ghusl at the time of her maut, and she was just buried in that condition. और कब्र में क्या हुआ होगा वो तो अल्लाह ताला ही जानता है. What must have been her condition in the hereafter, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. My respected mothers and sisters, these types of stories and these types of incidents are said to us for the purposes of ibrat and for the purposes of learning a lesson. Therefore, the dressing of a Muslim woman is very, very important, that it must be according to the teachings of Shariat. If we are going to break the laws of Shariat and we're going to dress how we want and we think we've got liberty and freedom to dress as we want, then we are in great deception and we are on the wrong path. Every Muslim woman must make sure that her dressing is according to the Sharia. Every Muslim mother must make sure that her daughter's dressing and clothing is according to the Sharia. And of course, even the Muslim men and Muslim boys have to dress according to the Sharia, because dressing plays a very important part in the life of a person. इंसान की जिंदगी पर उसके लिबास का बहुत बड़ा असर होता है. Many people will find them saying that what is there in your dressing as long as your heart is clean? Shabash. Yes. We find people coming with this argument. This is from Shaitan, this kind of arguments. Well, what does it matter what you wear? Dil saaf hona chahiye. The heart must be clean. Doesn't matter what you wear. Your clothing is not important outside. What is inside you, that is important. A child, this is true, then we will say to those people who state this here, that next time, with your nightgown, go shopping in the middle of the town. Go shopping in the middle of the city. Go overseas with your night clothes, with your nightgown. Because your dressing is not important. What is on the outside is not important. So wear anything. Go to somebody's wedding and shadi with your nightgown. And tell them, don't worry about what I'm wearing, because what is outside is not important. What is in the heart is important. Wear your night slippers and go. Which Muslim woman will do that today? Who you will find today going to a wedding, or to some function, or to some walima, or to some dawat, or anywhere, with just their night clothing on, or their nightgown, or night slippers on? People will say, you know, ye pagal ho gayi hai. Is this person gone mad? So the dressing, there is a mocha and mahal for dressing. We cannot wear this type of clothes and go to such a function. No matter how much you say your heart is clean, but no person will be ready to go to a function like this with this kind of clothing. There we will make sure we buy the best of clothes, and we buy the best of shoes, and we go in our best garments. So if we say that your heart must be clean, why are we worried about what we're wearing outside? Therefore, my respected mothers and sisters, remember, this is the dhoka of Shaitan. This is the deception of Shaitan. That you can just, you feel you can wear anything, and you say it doesn't matter what I wear outside because my heart is clean. This is totally wrong. What is on the outside is a reflection of what is on the inside, and what is inside is reflected on the outside. बातिन का असर जाहिर पर होता है और जाहिर का असर बातिन पर होता है. ये मुसल्लम उसूल में से है. Therefore, the dressing of a Muslim woman is very, very, very important that it must be according to the Sharia. And Allah Rabbul Izzat, our Master and Creator, has given us teachings in the Quran about how we must dress. And our Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught us how we must dress as Muslim women, what type of clothing we are allowed to wear, what type of clothing we are not allowed to wear. We find, my respected mothers and sisters, Hazrat Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, he warned कि एक जमाना मेरी उम्मत पर ऐसा आएगा कि कुछ औरतें ऐसी होगी कि जाहिरी तौर पर वो लिबास पहनी हुई होगी लेकिन हकीकत में वो नंगी और बरहना होगी. The time will come when there will be certain women, our Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam warned his ummah, that they will look outwardly, it will appear as they are dressed, but in reality it will be as if they are naked. People in the past used to think, how can it be that you are dressed also and you are naked also at the same time? ये तो एक दूसरे की जिद है. These are the opposites of one another. How can it be possible? But we find, my respected mothers and sisters, in our zamana and age, it's easy to understand this hadith. इस जमाने में इस हदीस की तत्बीक और उसका समझना बहुत आसान है, इसलिए कि ये जमाना सी थ्रू का जमाना है. ये इस जमाने की फैशन है. The fashion of this zamana and age is to wear see-through clothing. इतना पतला, इतना दुबला कपड़ा कि वो हो या न हो दोनों बराबर है. Such see-through clothing, such thin clothes, that whether we are dressed or we are not dressed, it doesn't matter, it appears as if we are undressed. It is forbidden. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Rubba kasiatin ariyatin ma'ilatin mumilatin." And what will be the niyat and intention of dressing like this? ताकि दूसरे मर्दों के दिल को अपनी तरफ खींच ले, so that we can attract other men towards us. ये सब नाजायज और हराम है. याद रखना, शरीयत और इस्लाम के अंदर औरत की नमाज अदा नहीं होगी अगर उसके बदन का कोई हिस्सा खुला हुआ हो सिवाय उसके हाथ के और सिवाय इसके दोनों पैर के और सिवाय उसके चेहरे के. अगर इन तीनों जगह के अलावा कोई जगह खुली रहे, उसके बाल खुले रहे, चाहे कन भी हो और 3 सुभान अल्लाह के बराबर वो खुला रहे, तो उसकी नमाज अदा नहीं होगी, बल्कि उसको अपनी नमाज दोहरानी पड़ेगी. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the woman in such a way that she is an object to be covered, because she is valuable. वो कीमती है. A woman is valuable in the eyes of Allah and Allah's Rasul. She is not like, the pebbles and stones on the street that anyone can kick them around and they are valueless. No, she is a precious diamond and jewel. The Muslim woman is a precious diamond and jewel. She is not to be left open in front of one and all, to be displayed in front of everyone, because she is valuable. जवाहिरात और हीरे और मोतिया हर एक के सामने नहीं रखे जाते हैं, बल्कि उसको छुपाया जाता है क्योंकि उसकी कीमत है. It is valuable. So diamonds and jewels and precious stones are not left in display for everyone. It is only a few people who are allowed to see it. This is the example of a Muslim woman. Non-Muslims are interested to know the reason why Muslim women cover themselves. Why you cover yourself? Don't you feel hot? Aren't you feeling so uncomfortable and bothered in this hot clothing of yours on a hot day in summer? You cover it now like this? Why do you have to cover yourself? Why can't you leave yourself open? So this Muslim woman gave a beautiful reply and jawab, and she said, you see, the difference between me and you is this. You are like an ordinary stone in the street. Anybody can look at you, anybody can pick you up, anybody can throw you away also. But I am like a diamond. I'm only for my husband's eyes. I'm only for my family's eyes. I'm not for all the men on the streets. Therefore, nobody can just pick me up. Nobody can kick me around. Nobody can take me away. I am the precious jewel and diamond of my husband's life. When this non-Muslim woman heard this jawab, she was shaken and she said, yes, what you are saying is true. Because we are valueless. We've got no value at all. We non-Muslim women have got no value at all. We are valueless. Yes. The men can throw us around and kick us around and push us around. They can use us and abuse us and to cast us aside because we have no value in their eyes. Whereas you are precious to your husband. You are loved by your husband, you are respected and cherished by your husband. That is the difference between a Muslim woman and a non-Muslim woman. Therefore, my respected brothers and sisters, it is very important that we dress properly according to the teachings of the Sharia. Remember, the namaz of a woman will not be accepted if, besides her hands and her feet and her face, any other part of her body is open for the duration of more than 3 subhanallahs. The namaz will not be accepted and she will have to repeat her salah. This goes to show how important it is for a Muslim woman to cover herself. और वो मुसलमान औरत जो अपने चेहरे को डांटती है, निकाब पहनती है, she wears the niqab, she covers her face, she veils herself from the eyes of all the people, तो उसके चेहरे पर एक खास नूर होता है. There is a special noor on her face. Subhanallah. Because she is obedient to Allah and Allah's Rasul. चूंकि वो अल्लाह और अल्लाह के रसूल की फरमाबरदार है, अल्लाह ताला फितरी तौर पर उसके चेहरे पर एक नूर डाल देता है. Then that noor shines and glows on her face. उसका चेहरा रोशन रहता है, उसमें एक कशिश होती है. और दुनिया के सब मेकअप और लिपस्टिक और पाउडर और जितनी भी मेकअप की चीजें हैं, वो उसको वो हुस्न नहीं बख्श सकती है जो नूर उसके चेहरे पर होती है. उसका मुकाबला नहीं हो सकता है. That Muslim woman who puts on her parda, who puts on her niqab, she covers her face from the eyes of ghair mahram men, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a special nur on her face. There is a special shine, there is a special glow and light on her face. Even if she doesn't use any makeup. You know, many women today use lipstick and, you know, eye powder and this powder and, you know, all kinds of artificial things to give their faces beauty. This is all temporary beauty. When they use too much of makeup, फिर वो वक्त आता है कि जब वो मेकअप नहीं लगाते हैं तो वो भूत की तरह नजर आती है. But when they don't put that makeup, when they use makeup so much, the skin becomes so blemished and damaged that when they don't use the makeup, they look like a ghost. One man wrote an article in one magazine, and he said, you know, my wife uses so much of makeup that when she takes out all that makeup at night, then it appears to me as though I am sleeping next to a ghost, because now all that makeup is gone and she looks like a ghost. So my respected mothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the Muslim women natural makeup, or sabse behtareen makeup, and that is the makeup of nur. When she has got nur, जब उसके चेहरे पर नूर होगा तो फितरी तौर पर उसके अंदर एक कशिश होगी, और फिर दुनिया की कोई हुस्न उसका मुकाबला नहीं कर सकती है. The Muslim woman who has got nur on her face, Miss Universe and Miss World and Miss Caribbean and Miss Barbados and whichever misses of the world cannot be equivalent to her beauty. Why? Because she has got the beauty of nur on her face. If we want this nur on our faces, then let us dress according to the tariqah of Islam. Let us cover our faces and put on our niqab and parda and we leave our home. Let us make wuzu. Let us read namaz. Let us make tilawat of the Quran. Let us make the zikr of Allah Ta'ala. Let us learn our deen. Let us teach our deen. And let us put on our parda and our hijab. We will find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fill our faces with nur. और फिर ऐसी औरत के शौहर का दिल हमेशा उसकी तरफ माइल होगा, और उसके शौहर का दिल दूसरी औरतों की तरफ नहीं जाएगा, इसलिए कि उसकी बीवी के चेहरे पर अल्लाह का नूर होता है. That woman who has got nur on her face, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make her husband incline towards her, and he will not incline towards other women. आजकल औरतों की इसी की बड़ी फिक्र होती है कि हमारे शौहर किसी और औरत के साथ तो नहीं लग गया है, और उसका दिल किसी दूसरी औरत की तरफ तो मायल नहीं हुआ है, और हर वक्त उनको शुबा भी रहता है. And they're suspicious all the time about their husbands, etc. But when a woman has got nur on her face, Allah Ta'ala will automatically make her husband incline towards her. Then you won't have to go and बहुत सी औरतें बेचारी आती है, पूछती है कोई तावीज़ चाहिए ताकि हमारा शौहर बिल्कुल हमारा ताबी हो जाए. We want a तावीज़, the husband must become like a slave to us. वो गुलाम की तरह, उल्लू की तरह हमारे सामने हर वक्त खड़ा रहे, और जो कुछ हम कहें वो हमारी बात को मान ले. इस तरह की तावीज़ नाजायज है, हराम है. You will not need all this kind of taweez and parole pani and all these things. If you lead your life according to Islam, You dress according to Islam. You are pardoned with your namaz. You make the zikr of Allah. You make tilawat of the Quran. You make dua. You stay away from guna and sins. My respected mothers and sisters, you will not need any ta'weez. Allah Ta'ala will put you will put the husband's heart in your hand. And your husband will be happy with you. Your husband will be pleased with you. लेकिन जो औरत अल्लाह ताला और अल्लाह के रसूल की नाफरमान होती है और अहकाम के खिलाफ वर्जी करती है और गुनाह में मुब्तला रहती है और चेहरे का पर्दा नहीं करती है और उसका लिबास शरीयत के खिलाफ होता है और वह अपने बाल को काटती है और मेकअप वगैरह इस्तेमाल करती है और उसके दिल के अंदर जलन और हसद और दुश्मनी और कीना होता है, तो फिर उसके शौहर का दिल भी उससे हट जाता है। Therefore, my respected mothers and sisters, I would appeal to you. Allah Ta'ala हम सबको तौफीक नसीब फरमाए. May Allah guide all of you that you lead your life according to Deen Islam. Especially when you are, as far as your dressing and libas is concerned, make your dressing according to Islam. Cover yourself properly. Wear your scarf and cover all your hair. Put the niqab on when you go outside the house. Make parda from ghair mahram men. Wear your long cloaks. Don't allow the shape of your body to be shown, because that is also haram. Don't wear see-through clothing. Don't wear clothes of fashion. Don't imitate the kuffar. Man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum. जो शख्स किसी दूसरी कौम की इत्तिबा और पैरवी करता है, अल्लाह ताला उसको उसी के अंदर शामिल कर देता है. That person who imitates a nation and he follows the fashions of other people, Allah Ta'ala will put that person with them on the day of Qiyamah. जिसने अमेरिका के फैशन की पैरवी की, क़यामत के दिन अल्लाह उसको अमेरिकन्स के साथ कर देगा. जिसने यूरोप की फैशन की पैरवी की, क़यामत के दिन अल्लाह ताला उसको यूरोप वालों के साथ कर देगा. और जिसने हजरत मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम और बीबी फातिमा और बीबी खदीजा और बीबी आयशा रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हा की फैशन की पैरवी की, क़यामत के दिन अल्लाह ताला उनको अल्लाह के रसूल और अज़वाज मुतहरात और बनात मुतहरात और सहाबियात के साथ कर देगा. Allah will put you with the women of Allah's Rasul and the wives of the Prophet and the daughters of the Prophet and the women of the Sahaba, if you follow the fashion of theirs. And if you follow the fashion of America, you will be with the Americans. And if you follow the fashion of the Europeans, you will be with the Europeans on the day of Qiyamah. It is your choice. It is your choice who you would like to be with on the day of Qiyamah. अल्लाह ताला हम सबको अमल की तौफीक नसीब फरमाए. मेरे माँ और बहनों, खास तौर पर इस मुल्क के अंदर रहते हुए अल्लाह के वास्ते अपने लिबास को और अपने सूरत और शक्ल को ऐसी बनाओ कि अल्लाह की रहमत हम पर आ जाए, और अपनी सूरत और शक्ल को ऐसी मत बनाओ कि अल्लाह की लानत और अल्लाह का गुस्सा हम पर उतर आए. Oh, my mothers and sisters, do not make your form and surat and your appearance in such a way that Allah's anger and Allah's curses be upon you. But make your form and your dressing and your libas in such a way that Allah's rahmat and Allah's mercies will come upon you. और याद रखना, अगर हमने अपने जाहिर को ठीक कर दिया तो अल्लाह ताला हमारे बातिन को भी ठीक कर देगा. If we fix our outward form, Allah will fix inside us also. जाहिर का ठीक करना आसान है, बातिन का ठीक करना इतना आसान नहीं है। जिसने आसान पर्चे में कामयाबी हासिल की उसके लिए मुश्किल पर्चा भी आसान हो जाएगा, लेकिन जो आसान पर्चे में नाकाम हुआ वो कैसे मुश्किल पर्चे में कामयाब हो सकता है। This dressing, this outward appearance is easy to adapt it. Allah will make the heart also clean. This is the easy paper. If we pass the easy paper, we will pass the difficult paper. But if we fail the easy paper, then how are we going to pass the difficult paper? Allah Ta'ala मुझे भी और आप सबको अमल की तौफीक नसीब फरमाए। अल्लाह ताला हम सबको आखिरत के अजाब से बचाए। अल्लाह ताला हम सबको जन्नत की नेमतों से सरफराज फरमाए। और यहाँ बारबाडोस के मर्दों और औरतों और बच्चों को अल्लाह ताला की खुसूसी रहमतें हो। अल्लाह ताला हम सबकी हिफाजत फरमाए और यहाँ दीन की फिजा को आम फरमाए और यहाँ पर आप लोगों के लिए दीन पर चलना आसान फरमाए। व आखिर दावाना अनिल हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन।
Respected brothers and sisters, as I mentioned at the beginning of the talk, if any mothers and sisters who have questions, paper and pen is provided. Please write your questions and pass it to the small child so that we can present it to Mufti Saheb for answers. We'll give you about 5 minutes for these questions and answers to be prepared. Jazakumullah. After the completion of the question and answer session, there will be dua.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Allahumma lakal hamdu kulluhu wa lakal shukru kulluhu. La nuhsi thana'an alayka anta kama athnayta ala nafsik. اللهم زدنا في نعمك ولا تنقصنا وأكرمنا ولا تهنا وآثرنا ولا تؤثر علينا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كلها دقها وجلها وأولها وآخرها وعلانيتها وسرها. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا إنك أنت علام الغيوب. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الحشر واحشرنا يوم القيامة مع الأبرار. اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم الأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم أحي الدين كله في العالم كله إلى يوم القيامة واجعلنا سببا لذلك. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى. اللهم حرك أمة نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم لإعلاء كلمته. اللهم ثبتنا على الإيمان وأمتنا على الإيمان واحشرنا يوم القيامة مع الإيمان. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم توفنا مسلمين والحقنا بالشهداء والصالحين غير خزايا ولا ندامى ولا مفتونين. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.